Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Cause no one can do it like we do it, like we do it, like we do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was my excessive clapping. That is just to ensure that my colleagues see that I clap for the show. Anyways, welcome to another episode of Generation Shine. It's your boy Nelly, and I do want to apologize for my vacancy last week. A couple things came up, but we're back here and ready to make it happen and do it to it. So obviously, like we always start off, I gotta introduce my beautiful colleagues of the day. Who should I go first? Don't know. You know what? Let's go. I'm gonna go with somebody. Somebody want to give me attitude today. Ladies and gentlemen, all the ladies especially.
Oh my God!
Listen, don't look at him for what he is right now. Okay, I understand it, but I'm telling you, he is the man. He can cook for you. He'll clean, and he'll make you happy, physically and mentally. It's my boy.
Yo, what up? It's the monster on the mic. It's Sheck Monster coming at you. What's up?
Yes.
That's
all he got. He got none. It's all right.
I was going to say something.
I don't know what else you want from me, man.
It's good.
You're good. They're good. You're good.
I've been canceled, so it's hard.
Ooh.
Ladies. Next up, it's a good friend of mine. I like to call him what I think of Candy. He's definitely a jawbreaker. And, he'll have your mouth open like that thing in the background back there. He's a mouthful. It's your boy.
What's up? What it is? It's your boy Gordo here. How you guys doing today? Welcome to another episode. Thank you for the introduction, you sexy, beautiful man.
Poppy. Gotta zip up a little bit. Can't show that. And last but not least, he is our fearless leader. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't want to mess with him.
All right, thank you, yo. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Messiah, and welcome to episode 28, bro.
Yes,
episode
yes,
28, bro.
yes.
28.
Yes.
That's 7 months.
Yes.
That's 7 months, bro. So
Yes.
congratulations on episode 28.
We keep on ticking.
We keep on ticking,
and then
bro.
when Lewis is off,
keep
he's
on
helping
ticking.
the Patriots record shit, and but that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic.
Lord.
I mean,
Lord.
I know Sheck Monster got a draft, but it's gonna be kind of hard, with the Patriots cheating. It's like you don't know what to predict, but fuck it, what it is. It is what it is. So
Yeah, I heard they're going after Leonard Fournette.
I bet you this much. He's gonna pick Tom Brady because he's gonna have a new line, and he's gonna have good receivers. Or he might pick a receiver from Tampa.
Listen, I will tell you this. I've already done two live drafts, okay? And I got 2 more coming up. And I have yet to pick a single Buccaneer or Patriot player in either of my drafts.
Oh.
So guess what you're gonna have? You're gonna have a bad.
sounds like
season.
you're gonna have a bad
We'll
season.
Team's
But whatever.
stout.
But go ahead, Nelly. Go
Whatever.
ahead, Nelly.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for tuning in and watching us. We appreciate the support. And we're just gonna keep going for you guys, keep you with new content. We got some other things that we'll announce later that we're gonna get back onto. But today's topic's a little touchy feely here. Something that's kind of been going viral and global. So we're gonna bring up Jacob Blake, the man that obviously got shot in Wisconsin 7 times by the police. And we're gonna start off with Gordo here on his thoughts of the incidents and what he thinks about it. So go ahead, Papi.
Yes. So Jacob Blake, that's something that just outrageously stupid in a sense. Like, why would that happen for just turning his back on the police like that? Like, okay, just turn my back on you, I'm gonna shoot you 7 times for no reason. Like, come on, an unarmed person, you're gonna shoot him in front of his kids. Like,
His kids were in the car.
come on, it's just what happened.
His kids were in the car.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it was horrifying. Now those kids must be traumatized, and I do feel sorry for them because that's a scar that you will not heal from for a very very long time, and that's gonna set their mind and like all cops are bad. Yes, not all cops are bad, but you seeing your father as a kid getting shot in front of you by a cop because he didn't do nothing, it's gonna set a bad example for every other cop out there. Like from that day forward, I'm guessing they're gonna see every cop is horrible. That's sad. It's very sad.
Well, let's think about the scenario, right? Let's think about the story. So two ladies are fighting outside. People are witnessing this. A neighbor's witnessing this, and they call the cops. Jacob Blake happens to drive by and tries to parks and stops by and try to separate the ladies, whether he knows them or not. Because I wasn't clear on that if he knew them or not. But as he's there trying to separate the ladies from fighting or trying to diffuse everything, at that time the cops show up. Now, mind you, it's the article I was reading. He had prior records and he also had a warrant, which makes sense why he was leaving. He's like, okay, the cops are here. I'm gonna leave it in their hands. We don't know the altercation that happened between him and the cops because we saw the film that is keep playing out there. It's the part where they're recording when he's walking away and all that. So they probably do recognize him. And he just like at this point he's like, yo, I got a warrant. They're here now. I got a warrant. I'm gonna leave. And they just started, hey, but come here. So that again, no dialogue was recorded and all of that. But think about in his mind, okay, I came here. I try to stop them. I know I have a warrant. I got my kids in the car. I gotta leave. I'm playing this out. This is not exactly what the article was saying, but I'm trying to play it out. I'm putting myself in his shoes. So I'm just gonna get the hell out. I'm just gonna get the fuck out of here before they find out or they already know who I am because I have prior record. And he had a warrant out for him for his arrest. So he's leaving, and as he's leaving, the cop will probably already know who he is, trying to pull him, and he's walking away. This is when the ego comes in, right? This is when the cop's like, I'm fucking talking to you. Why the fuck are you walking away? No, I'm not quoting anybody. I'm just playing the scenario in my head. And he's trying to get in his car, and the cop is trying to like push him out and pulls the trigger. Now, the article that I did read said that supposedly there was a knife in the car, right? Think about that scenario. So if there was a knife in the car, the cop didn't see that, or he did. But why did he have to shoot 7 times on a man's back? I believe you should be trained better than that. You shouldn't shoot anybody in the back. There's no need for that because at this point he's leaving. But I can see where the aggression comes in and all that. So it's fucked up. They do need better training. Whether they did recognize him as a person that had a warrant, there was no need for him to be shot like that. So I just think this is where the injustice always comes in, or not the injustice. This is where the improper training comes in, and it happens to be that police department doesn't have body cams. So there's another thing that footages are not out there. So maybe not enough funding for that, or maybe they feel like, nah, we don't need body cams. So there's a lot of shit happening, and as it progresses. As the days pass, we still learn more and all that shit. But I'll let somebody else jump in there.
So I was just on the computer trying to do some research, and
I'm having deja vu
because I was trying to find out there. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, man. I'm trying to understand, trying to remember some of the stuff I was thinking. Bottom line is that there's still a lot that's unknown for me, right?
I'm sorry. Go
ahead. Continue.
Okay,
right.
I'm good.
Sorry, so for you guys out there, we're not being sensitive. It's just we had a major blooper. We'll let you guys know at the end.
You'll see it on one of our outtakes. But bottom line is there was a lot of conjecture about what went on, what happened. Oh my God, this is going to be such a horrible thing. What happened in the beginning of the situation? Like they were called on the scene obviously because there was an altercation, a domestic altercation, right? And we don't see the altercation and what transcribed with it to spark everything. As Messiah said about the warrants and stuff, maybe that's why he's walking away. Regardless, he was going back into the vehicle. Supposedly there was a report, somebody heard the police officer said drop the knife, even though there was no visual evidence of any kind of knife on the scene, but then there's reports of a knife in the vehicle. But the bottom line is you had 2 officers shoot the gentleman in the back with 7 shots between the 2 of them, right? And it brings me back to another scenario another video I saw not long ago, where a white guy, twice this cop's size, and it was a woman cop, had an actual knife, and you see it in the video, and he is coming after her, threatening to kill her. And threatening her life, and she circles around the vehicle multiple times as this guy is literally trying to assault her with a knife as she has her firearm pulled. And it's not until like literally at least 5 minutes into this whole episode that she takes around and she fires 2 shots to be able to drop the guy, and that's it. And I'm trying to understand, like, is it that's where people look at this as a racial thing. Well, how can a white guy, twice the size of this officer, be allowed to threaten her life with a knife in his hand for 5 minutes before she has to react because her life felt threatened? But these guys shoot this guy 7 times in the back. Right? Like I was always the understanding that you're not allowed to fire a weapon as a police officer unless your life is in danger or somebody else's life is in danger. There nowhere in that video did it look like somebody's life was in danger, right? Even if he was going to flee the scene, then you pursue chase. Like how many times have we seen people flee scenes? Right? I mean, OJ fled the scene for hours on the highway and they didn't do anything to stop him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so At what point is it a racial thing? And, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not what they teach you in the academy. But I was always under the impression you don't fire unless your life is completely threatened.
Yeah. I mean, I think,
you're right.
From what I read, obviously, they said they attempted to arrest him and they used a taser and a failed attempt to stop him. Whatever the case is. Obviously, there's not video that surfaced of those incidents or anybody said a knife, but they're like, that cop goes behind him, is pulling on his shirt, and if you think about it, right, you open your door, the guy was kind of slightly wide, so you're blocking a view. There's no way you see a knife. Like, there's no way you see a knife on the bottom, and especially they don't know where it was. They said it was on the floor, so it could have been towards under the seat. But even so, if I'm looking and I'm standing this way and I'm hunched over, you don't have that angle. You get what I'm saying? So the theory of that just mind boggles me. And then shooting the man 7 times.
They just use that as a reason, bro. They just tried. There probably was a knife there. But he wasn't carrying at the time. There's no way they could have seen the knife.
Well, like Messiah said, there was definitely listen. His legal history was definitely known by the officers before they get on scene.
Yes,
so they know
because they ignore the fight. They ignore what they went different. They ignore exactly what they went for, and they went to him based on the video.
But what I'm also saying though is that so they know that he has, I think, sexual assault charges against him. He's had gun, concealed weapon charges. Like they know that they consider him a dangerous individual, and so I get their mindset is to react in a certain way. But but still, certain situations only call for certain reactions.
No,
and, I don't know. I mean,
at the end of the day, like I've been on a few ride-alongs, with officers. I've done Polk County and I've done Osceola County, and I've got out of the car in some sticky situations, and granted, like when you go on a ride-along, like you don't have a gun, you don't have anything, like it's there for your experience, and obviously, it could be a little nerve-wracking, but even myself, a gun owner, like. They teach you, like, if somebody is breaking into your house, and they teach you, you want to be like, hey, drop what you got. Obviously, you don't want to shoot them right away, right? A warning, right? Now, that person decides to run off, I can't shoot him in the back. He's no longer a threat. Anytime you're turned back, you are no longer a threat. Like, granted, like, you're no longer a threat. If you decide to turn back around with something, that's a different story. But this guy, he didn't turn around. He didn't even get the chance to fully bend down before 7 shots. Right now, you got to think about it. He ruined his life because now this guy's paralyzed from the waist down. They have him handcuffed to the bed. Like, where is he going? Oh yeah. But
they released that. They released that after the announcement that where the father was like, Even if he wanted to run, he can't because he's paralyzed. So why is he handcuffed to the thing? And they were saying it's protocol,
so they took those
right?
off, but his dad called it chained down. But like they had him handcuffed. His kids are going to be scarred. His family is going to be scarred. Like the family was outside. If you see the like all the family are like why? Honestly, that didn't need to happen. Like it just didn't. Like honestly, the officer could have pulled back, and if he decided to turn around and do something, then okay, a little maybe more justifiable. Or in other essence, like if he decides to drive off, and then if another officer's in front of the car and he's trying to hit that officer, that's obviously posing a threat as well. That obviously causes for
it is.
Yeah, that causes
the vehicle
for a
becomes a
shoot.
deadly weapon.
Not this man trying to get away. Like it's crazy, And
So this is here's the problem. Here's the problem though that you're always going to have, right? And I'm always going to be. I'm that guy on this show, so I'm going to still be that guy on this show. I'm always going to give you the devil's advocate, and I'm not. And let me just preface that by telling everybody, I'm no way in any frame of mind trying to justify what the police did. I don't agree with it. I don't stand for it. I don't believe in it. But I have to be the side. I'm going to always be the person who's going to talk about the other side if I see everybody's making points that some of them I may not agree with. So what happens is then you could say as a cop or the people who committed that crime, well, we felt fear for the children because he was going to get in the vehicle and he was going to leave with those kids. So once he's in the vehicle, we can no longer safely apprehend the subject because of the fact that the children are in the vehicle. So even if an officer is in front and he tries to hit him, he can't fire on that vehicle with children in it. What happens if one of the bullets miss? What happens if the bullet goes through?
But he did.
But that's why they shot him at point blank in the back then. Because the kids were there's no way those bullets were
going to shoot out the tire. Where's he going to go? Just shoot the tire.
Right?
Where's he going to go?
Okay, but then
what I'm saying is if he got into the vehicle, you're right there. All you gotta do is shoot the tire, not before you even move. And now he's not
at that point. Yes, when you're right there,
you can't go anywhere. You get what I'm saying?
I get it, but then
the vehicle could still move with a flat tire.
Correct, and then there's hostage situation. You can
it's
put
hard to
yourself
move
in a
with two flat tires, bro.
He takes one of his kids. But you take one of the kids hostage. Like there are other scenarios which I like I said I don't agree with it at all. But I mean you guys bring up points sometimes where it's like you got to think about the other side a little bit, right?
You got to think of the children, but at the end of the day, like what are you gonna do? Like you have your children in the car. Like what I get it. He was called, but maybe I'm not. Like I said, in no way form I send the face. But
that's what I'm saying. You said that they tried to tase him, but like at what point did they really?
Did he really have to go there?
What I don't understand.
Who? At that point he probably was being a good Samaritan.
No, I know he probably was.
What are you guys fighting for?
What are
you guys fighting for? We don't know that scenario.
This is just mine, but like if I know like okay, this might put me in some type of predicament, I probably wouldn't go. But honestly, he probably had all good intentions to go over there and stop everything, and he probably had all good intentions to leave. You know what I'm saying? It's just a sticky situation. He had 3 kids in the car. Yeah. His girlfriend. He's trying to stop the fight. So everything was good hearted, but.
All I know
they took his patch to his advantage, though. I definitely will say that they took his patch as an advantage.
Yeah. But me knowing that I have warrants, I'm gonna.
But you should know they're gonna call the cops.
I'm out this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe he didn't know. He didn't know. Okay, maybe I could diffuse it before the cops get here. But anyway, we're speaking hypothetical scenarios. But I'm just saying, me knowing I have warrants if I have warrants under my belt. I'll be out that fucker. So
but most people that have warrants don't even go about.
Now, no, here's the thing though. But here's another scenario too. Now, at what point did you decide to leave? Because you're already hearing the sirens coming down the street.
No. It depends. So on multiple ride-alongs that I've been on, there's certain calls like they'll tell you dispatch sirens off, no lights, and you can literally go there, or you can put lights, no sirens, or you can just they tell you what to do. Because sometimes at night when there's something happening, they don't want you alerting the people that's happening. So you're.
Now you're watching too much movie Messiah.
But that's if you're stealing
it doesn't matter because there was
a robbery or something. You don't want people to hear it.
No lights, no sirens to that call, and we were speeding.
Well, that's also a good reason why not to have
I know, but two people are fighting. But but we don't know the scenario, like I said. But if you did hear it, at that point, I would be like, I gotta get out of here. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm out this motherfucker. But anyways, that makes a good segue. So since I'm bad at making segues, check you want to do a segue.
You're a segue. You're a subway.
Talk about the subway. Hands up.
All right, speaking, going back to Sheck Monsters, like, is it about race? Is it about that? So we're gonna jump into Kyle Rittenhouse. Obviously, if you guys haven't known, this is the dude in who shot. Obviously, he was in the middle of protesting. He was shooting protesters, and obviously, a lot of shit happened that day. At least from people getting hurt and injured.
Yeah, but when you say he's shooting. Yeah, when you say shooting protesters,
I'm not saying that he did. I'm not saying that, but okay. Let me use the real term. Okay.
I could tell you what the story was.
He was attempting to deputize citizens. That's exactly what he was trying to do. Because he had received requests from community members to deputize citizens. But when you do that at your own risk. The sheriff, Wisconsin Sheriff Department tells you, like, that's at your own risk if you would like to do that. But obviously, when you try to do that, shit hits the fan, right? So Sheck Monster, let them know what hit the fan.
So basically what you had was a 17-year-old young man who posted a video before he went out to these protests. And first of all, what boggles my mind is a 17-year-old kid has an assault rifle. I mean, I don't even know how those types of things are made possible. And this is why, some of these things happen. But yeah, he posted a video and talked about his racial disagreements and things of that nature. He went out to the streets during a protest, and he walked around with the rifle, and it got to the point that it got heated between him and a protester. He shot a protester and then proceeded to flee the area. People obviously followed and pursued him. And he tried to act like he was innocent. He does no wrong. So he was walking with his hands up with the rifle around his waist. There are a lot of different reports that I'll tell you about in a second. But then the protesters proceeded to attack him. And at that point, they're trying to say in his self-defense, because he was being attacked, he shot another 2 protesters. During that time, supposedly, police heard gunfire and refused to go to the scene of the gunfire because they were more worried about the protesters than the gunfire that was going on. There's also allegations that there were police officers that drove by the gentleman, but being the color of his skin, never stopped him, never did anything, and kept on driving by and allowed him to continue walking through the streets with a semi-automatic rifle or an automatic rifle or whatever it was, and they didn't do anything until he was finally subdued. He was charged with first-degree murder, I believe, for what he did. But it's just the fact that, I mean, how long would it take for a young black 17-year-old male with an automatic weapon walking down the street during a protest or not to be subdued? I mean, I think 10 seconds. And yet this guy was out there for how long? And it's not like there were officers out there because of the protests already. So, I mean, I like to hear what you guys have to think about it, but that's kind of what that's what I read, and that's what I saw about it. I could be wrong.
No, I'll keep mine short, quick, and then I'll let Gordo go.
Go ahead.
Honestly, like, I completely agree with you, right? You're talking about Wisconsin, right? I believe it's heavily white, if I'm not mistaken, the population. But you go ahead and flip the scenario with a young 17-year-old black male with an assault rifle. Sooner, it would have probably happened as soon as possible. They would have got a call saying African American is roaming the streets with an AR-15. That's exactly what a call would have been. And boom, like that, right? Now, obviously, I'm not going to say what would have been the outcome of it. My guess is maybe it would have ended worse than what we're thinking. But, they obviously would have got there way quicker to obviously stop the situation from happening. But obviously I don't want to say that it would have went and got and shot him, but way things are going, definitely a possibility, right? But, this guy walks away, hands up, defending for my life and call it a day. But why don't cops feel like he was a threat? He has an AR-15, but my man Jacob Blake had a knife that he wasn't holding.
Yep.
And he was walking back. And he was going into his car. His
that's
back
just my
was
little
turned.
spiel on it. But go ahead, Gordo.
No, yes, I saw the video on this kid, and I'm like, really, like, that's white privilege to its maximum, because, okay, yes, he's armed, yes, hands are up. You're not gonna stop and question, hey, where you got that firearm from? Is it registered under your name? Like, and there was report of gunshots. Like,
Come on, though.
Come on.
That's where you talk about a joke, though.
Exactly.
What black male in this country could walk around with a firearm when they're going
None.
to ask him any questions?
None.
Like, I mean, the fact, but that's what I'm saying. So it's just funny when you sit there and you say
No,
that.
I
Is it
know.
registered?
I
They don't
know.
give a shit.
They don't.
It's you have a firearm, get down the ground, you're going to jail. You can prove your innocence afterwards. Then with the black male in America, it's not innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until you prove your damn innocence.
I like that.
Yeah, if you're black and
I
you
like
got a
that.
gun,
That was a little deep.
You're guilty and you're dead on the spot.
That is definitely deep.
That's all it
I
is.
was going Shaq Monster.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're,
Well,
it's just unbelievable.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You were just gonna say, Messiah?
this is what I think.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, this is what I think. First of all, this kid, whether he works in Kenosha, in that city, but he's from Illinois.
Yeah, he was like 10 miles away from
He
home.
he drove to the actual place to protect property, right? Mind you, he had probably did partner up with police, and they had to deputize, and they had to do stuff like that. But did anybody ask how old is the kid? Because Wisconsin is a legal carrying state, right? It's a legal carrying area, but you have to be 18 or older to legally carry a weapon. This kid is 17. Well, let's not call him a kid, because if you like the media does sometimes, if it's a young black man, they get treated as an adult. Why
He's
do
an
we keep
adult.
calling this kid a kid, right? So
As
this
an
guy
adult.
made a conscious decision. All right, tried him as an adult. So this guy made a conscious decision to carry an AR, go to a place where he knows shit's gonna pop off.
Because
He
shit
knows
just
shit's gonna
popped
pop off.
That's why.
So he could be there wanting. Yeah, he could be there wanting to look for trouble. Because if he didn't want to look for trouble, he wouldn't show up.
Nah.
So he showed up with an AR, right? And at the car dealership where this was happening, right? So that's where he was. That's where he was policing, right? That was the area he was watching. That's when he runs into the altercation with Hamburg. I think that was his name. Where he runs into the guy. The guy, they get into an altercation. They get into an argument. He throws like what it seemed to be a plastic bag at him. And then they I guess they're still arguing, and they walk away from the crowd. And the crowd hears is shots. And then he starts walking away. And now the rumor is that they heard him make a phone call, say, I killed somebody. Now, think about the context. He could have said, because that context could also be taken the wrong way. He probably could have said, I killed somebody, with the saying, shit, I killed somebody. Or with like, yo, I shot somebody. Like with that. So that context, we don't know. That part of the sentence, we don't know what the context said. But all it said is, I killed somebody. Now you have people saying, that guy shot somebody, or he killed somebody. Police is not moving. So they try to take shit in their own hands and try to stop him. They try to, they were trying to be brave about it. Because I'll tell you this much, unless we're going in a crowd, with a deep crowd, I'm not running up to anybody with an AR. Unless there's like 40 of us or
Even
10 of
still.
us where we can at least,
still.
right? So there was some brave people out there, right? And they tried it. One of them lost his life for it. But at that point, also, again, now this footage, right? This footage shows him walking towards the cop. One cop is on his foot, turns around and gets into his car, and this is when I think the call was being made, where shots fired, and they were driving towards the protest with the shots fired. You can see the two SWAT team just drive by him, but the other cop car, the actual cop car, is just sitting there, and he's walking with his hands up. At what point do you say, wait a minute, we're going to hold this guy here to just in case it's this guy that did it, and if he's innocent, we'll let him go? Because had he been Latino or black, they would have been like, let's apprehend him right there, because he's the one with an AR right now. That everybody that's here, he's the one with an AR, and to we investigate further. If it's not him, we'll let him go. But that didn't happen. It was, you're innocent. That guy, he got all the way home, back to Illinois, right back.
He went to
and
sleep.
then that's when they found out that
he went to sleep. He woke up fresh.
And then the next day they arrest him.
Yep.
Yeah, the next day they arrest him. So that right there is a proven thing that's the difference between Jacob Blake and Kyle Rittenhouse. That's the difference. Jacob Blake was trying to run, and Kyle Rittenhouse in front of the cops with an assault rifle. I won't even joke around walking around with a fake
with a military grade weapon
because I'll get my ass shot. Yeah. So he walks. They drive by him again. People would say, "Yeah, but they were answering a call." You're right. They were answering a call, but at what point do you say, "Wait a minute, this is a guy with an assault rifle right here. Let's hold him. Hey, the cop that's staying behind. Can you make sure? Can you keep an eye on this guy that has an assault rifle? Can you hold him?"
Yep.
And even if it's like, yo, they held me against my will, but at least they would have been like, yo, we held somebody. We heard shots. He has a gun. The other guy that he shot, because he shot a guy that had a handgun in his hands. He shot a guy that approached him that had a handgun in his hands. There's another guy with a gun there. Let's start looking at those people before we even get deeper into the protest. But that decision was not made. So I tell you this much, and I based on what we've been seeing lately and through the history of police versus other race.
Now you see my black ass with a gun.
They don't ask questions. Yeah, you see anybody else with a gun?
That guy found.
It's crazy though, and that's the fucked up part about it. And then people say, "Oh, the media spins it." No, the media might play a role of spinning it, but if you watch the footage, you see it. And then you read into it and you start doing your own research, it's still fucked up because again, this is where the media plays a role and twists things. Black man usually, let's trial him as an adult. White man, he's just a teenager.
And
they're both the same
teenager.
age. Yeah, so there's that, right?
Well,
there's that. So people, you can blame, and then we have a leader the country, and I don't want to get involved with politics, that doesn't even condemn anything, and he's just sitting there like, you see the footage I've seen.
What he says is, bro. He says, because Trump said that he told reporters that Rittenhouse was trying to get away from them, I guess it looks like, and said that the protesters violently attacked him. Like, you shot somebody. And everybody's trying to make sure you don't shoot nobody else. What else are they? What else are they gonna do? They're just gonna just leave you there.
And I get it. He probably can't talk because he doesn't have the full investigation. But you don't say things like that. You don't say, well, you know what? Comment should be like, until the full report is out, I can't comment on that. If
they're gonna take advantage of it,
I just can't comment on it until I hear.
They're gonna take advantage of it because he's legally a minor. So his parents gotta talk on his behalf. They're gonna take full advantage of it.
He should still get charged.
Yes,
because he had an assault rifle.
By all means,
he had an assault rifle.
Him to have the assault rifle.
But think about this. He left his house with an assault rifle.
I bet you that motherfucker left his house
to
saying,
go
"I'm
to
going
a
hunting."
to go to a place where there's protesting going on. You know shit's gonna pop off. Mm-hmm. You're there to look for trouble. You're not there to protect, right? You're not there to protect. And if you're there to protect, and you know you don't have the balls to protect without pulling the trigger,
don't go.
Then don't show up.
Don't go.
Let the cops. Why this is another thing. Why the fuck are people? This is why I'm totally against assault rifles. Why the fuck does people want to play police, bro? Let the police do their job, and you stay the fuck home with your gun and collect your guns. Worry about somebody breaking in your house so you can use your fucking guns. Or stand in your yard so you can use your guns so nobody comes in. Forget about trying to be fucking Captain America. Fuck that shit. That's the problem. People these days have guns. Not everybody, but people have guns. They're not trained correctly. It's so easy for you to go buy a gun. Yep. You're not trained correctly. You go out there. You go out there with that mentality that you know what? I'm gonna protect the companies. I'm gonna go put out there protect, and they can't even handle the fucking pressure. Gotta be a little bitch and shoot somebody because you can't handle the pressure. Somebody in your face.
Think about it. This is how
get your ass the fuck home.
Lawyers have a job to do. So, but this is how the lawyer. Yeah, they're the one to make the bank.
They're the ones who make the
But
bank.
they're trying to cast Rittenhouse as a hero who had no choice but to defend himself. That's what they're going with.
But that's just not gonna fly, bro. That's just not gonna fly. And if it does fly, and he comes off this shit as he gets acquitted for this shit, and he doesn't even go to jail
It's a
for this
wrap.
shit, all hell's gonna break loose.
yeah.
It's a wrap. We're gonna have literally fucking Minnesota all over again. Like, fuck it.
Yep.
They're gonna riot.
Oh, hell's
and
gonna break
They're gonna
loose.
call it a day,
So-
bro. Like, fuck it. I mean,
Yep, because are you
Because
a man
it's just
or
crazy.
you
you
just
know,
a man?
Enough is
enough
enough.
is enough, and that's gonna segue into like shit. Even NBA players are fed up. I mean, they're all here
Yeah,
boycotting,
sports,
and
bro, they have to.
my man is the master of sports. So Checkmaster, go ahead, Poppy.
So this all happened.
Hold on, before
Actually,
you continue,
before the-
this is the longest time he's being shut up without saying anything. Let me tell you, not because of the topic, but overall, like, you have not said nothing.
Yeah,
in a
make
couple
sure you're not on
minutes.
mute, bro.
I was like, is he talking? He froze. He was just like,
Ladies and gentlemen,
I was like, oh.
if you made it this
No,
far,
I'm just
and you
listening.
made it this
I'm not,
far, it's because Checkmaster has shut up. But now he will talk.
yes. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be changing the upload dates coming soon to Thursday mornings
Yes.
instead of Wednesday morning. Just so you guys know. Don't be surprised when you see the episode on Wednesday. We're going to upload it on Thursday mornings. Just for future references, okay, guys? So, carry on, Chick Monster.
Yep.
And he's gone
here.
on
He
that
can
part.
hear you.
So, when it comes to...
I'm here. I'm here.
Are you
I'm
playing
here.
the cricket
He's there, he's
sound?
there.
Are
He's
you
just the
playing the
camera.
cricket
I
sound?
just-
No, I was sorry. I was looking at something. So what happened was this was before the Rittenhouse thing happened, which I'm a little disappointed because for some reason that didn't get more coverage on the sports in the sports world that I thought it would. I really thought that there would be more talk about that incident in comparison. But I was a little disappointed in ESPN and those outlets for not bringing that up more. At least I didn't see it, but I heard all about the everything else. So that was a little disappointing. But on to what went on in the sports world. So throughout this whole sports thing that was going on, I've been doing, or they've been, trying to affect change, and they've been trying to bring to light the injustice that's going on in America to the point that the NBA has all kinds of things in their arenas talking about Black Lives Matter. They allow people to have stuff on their jerseys to a certain degree, messages that they could put out there to try to draw attention to the cause. LeBron James been really big that sometimes he won't even talk about the game. He only talks about the injustice going on in America. And they've been trying to bring a lot of light to it. The NFL's trying to do their part where they can, but they put out a lot of
Did they bring
commercials
Kaepernick back yet?
about it and everything like that. Well,
Don't want to hear about
that's
it.
a different story. So it's just one of those things with that. So what ended up happening is there was a lot of talk about whether people, how they felt about playing after this happened and all this other stuff. And what happened is the Milwaukee Bucks, because it was in their home state, decided that they refused to play. And they were actually the team that boycotted from playing their playoff game against the Orlando Magic. Unfortunately, they did not unify as a league at that time to make this statement or this stance. So it looked a little awkward when the Orlando Magic are on the court and they're prepared for warm-ups and they find out that they're not coming out and they're not going to come play, and they walked off the court. Now the NBA, in order to, because they act fast and they act swift, and it is about I'm not dissing the league or anything, but it is about the appearance, decided to postpone all games after that. But in all reality, this wasn't something that everybody decided to do at first. This was a movement that one team made, and it forced. Then it was a trickle down effect that the entire league that night decided to boycott. They just postponed all games so they prevent this from happening again, where somebody might be coming out and somebody else decides not to at the last minute, and this whole thing. And then it sparked a revolution into baseball, and there were several baseball games across the country that were postponed, that refused to play, and there were games that went on still. Right. So it was a mixed board across the thing. And then what ended up happening is the NBA completely shut down. They had meetings and had discussions. There was a lot of arguments within the players themselves, not only the players and the ownership, about how they were going to proceed going forward. And for a moment, it looked like the NBA may cancel their season and cancel the playoffs. They were able to come up to an agreement, and because of that, there was some really good change, or not change, but there was really some good things that impacted the immediate future, not just looking for, because we all know the one thing that they all are aware of, they can't, no matter what they do, they can't affect actual change in all honesty, right? Unfortunately, whether they play or not, this is a bigger systemic problem. That's like them trying, like when Martin Luther King made his stances, he knew he wasn't going to make change tomorrow. He was going for a long-term systematic change in society. Okay, he was trying to, that's why they marched on Washington. That's why they did those things, was to enact change over the long-term legislation and the way that people viewed things. And the NBA, some of the players, they wanted to do something now. So they were able to convince the owners and partner up with them to make stadiums voting, registered voting sites, so that way they had a safe place to go. So like the Los Angeles and Clippers stadium, so because that's in a not necessarily the highest end town of LA, but that's going to be a voting center where all these less predominant, what's the word? Lower class people, I guess some people would say. I don't know. I don't like to use that term, but they have a place to go and safely vote and cast, and then be able to enact and change in the government. So this immediate act is to help with the long-term change of our country. And then they all decided that they're better served, because the one thing that I kept on thinking about this whole time was there were players who opted out of playing because they wanted to stand for this movement. Right, and they decided not to go to the bubble, but I haven't heard a single thing from one of those players. What change are they doing? What are they? What have they done? There was a guy on the Lakers, I forget his name, unfortunately, who was a really good player, who decided not to go to the Lakers and play because he felt that it was disrespectful to the state of America and where we're at to go play take part in the bubble. But I haven't seen him on the news, the press. I don't know what he's doing for his community, and he may be doing things, but I have no idea about it. But guess what? I'm hearing about LeBron James, Chris Paul. I'm hearing about, all these players from all these different teams, because they have a platform now stuck in their face after these games for them to be able to talk about these issues and be able to speak on them. So I think I think they wisely came to that conclusion. Like, we're going to get more coverage on this topic if we stay, rather than
just
if we
to
go.
Hop off here. I think just some of the things that the Baltimore Ravens actually said. So Baltimore Ravens is calling for social change and are demanding accountability in light of the recent incidents of police violence. The team laid out specific action points in a statement on Thursday, including a call for the police officers responsible for Breonna Taylor and killing and the shooting of Jacob Blake to be arrested and charged. The team sent out a statement, said it would use the franchise's platform to unite and enact positive change. So the statement was, "This is bigger than sports. Racism is embedded in the fabric of our nation's foundation." And that's going back to, what Sheck Monster is saying. It's an issue. It's embedded in the fabric of our nation's foundation and is a blemish on our country's history. If we are to change course and make our world a better place, we must face this problem head on and act now to enact positive change. That's what the statement said. It said the team also was calling to the requirements of body cameras, banning chokeholds, and no-knock warrants, and establishing a framework to prohibit racial profiling at the state, federal, and local levels. So what do you think about that? Do you agree with that?
That's a very powerful move. That was a very powerful move on their behalf. That was actually really good.
Which I think that's why probably they didn't bring up, and this is
You do
me
that?
thinking, they probably didn't bring up Kyle Rittenhouse because that would create negativity, right? It could be used as just like, hey, this is why this and that. So it's probably why they haven't brought it up, or maybe they have. But also, the WNBA also took a stance, and so did the NHL. I was actually surprised that the NHL took a stance too. And the reason why I was surprised is because the NHL, predominantly the viewers are white, and that's their audience. They have a few, African Americans in their league, and part of the speech, part of the things that they were talking, that hey, we stand with what's going on in society right now. We stand against it, so this is what we want, and we're gonna learn from this. So I actually, the NHL out of all for me was a big surprise, because of that. Because of the main reason is because the NHL, the audience of the NHL is basically white audience. The NFL doesn't surprise me much because of what happened to Colin Kaepernick. They're starting to make moves now, but NHL, to be honest with you, bro, as much as I love NFL is like the owners, some of them, not all of them, like they don't want to budge, they don't want to make movements, right? And that's, and not including as much as I love the Patriots, Robert Kraft does his things, but he's more on on the Trump side and all that. And I'm not saying that they're saying it's okay for what happened, but I'm just saying like that league. Like the NBA moves quick, and the NBA is really with their players.
Right,
they're 100% behind their players. Versus the NFL.
Oh boy.
Go ahead.
We get into the sports topic here. We want to talk a little sports because I got some shit that I've been.
Before
Go
you
ahead.
do,
Say it.
before you
It's about to
do,
go down.
I'm
I
surprised.
haven't had a show yet.
I'm surprised the Patriots didn't record anything that happened. But go ahead, check Monster.
So I hear this a lot where people talk about how progressive the NBA is, right, versus the NFL, and how the NFL owners are, don't want to, have as much movement versus the NBA owners and all the things that they're willing to do and this and that. The bottom line is you're dealing with the same exact demographic of owners in the NBA and the NFL. They're the same. They're identical across the board. You know what the only difference is between them? The difference is this, okay? You have 5 main players on your team that impact your entire franchise. And sometimes it's 1 or 2 that can completely destroy your franchise. You get rid of LeBron and AD on the Lakers are nothing, okay? The basketball players have more power because they have smaller numbers. You take one player off an NFL team and you can still be okay. Okay, the NFL players don't have power. That's why they don't have guaranteed contracts. That's why they can get cut. All this shit that can happen to them. Do you think that if an NFL team only had 5 players that started, and they said we're refusing to put out your product unless you listen to us and you do this? You think the owners are not going to stand up and say, shit, it's going to affect our pockets. We're going to have to do something. The NFL's not united is the problem. But you know what? LeBron James and AD walk out of the Lakers or even the NBA playoffs. Guess what? They're losing a lot of money over there. The owners don't have a choice but to stand up and recognize the power of the player. I mean, so it to me, when I hear those things, I don't buy into it at all that. It's not, they're the same class of person. It's just they're all caring about their wallets. Dan Snyder, the guy for the Washington football team, said all this time that he will never change the name of the team. He refuses to do it until what happens? It affected his wallet. And as soon as they started affecting his wallet, bam, he made changes, right? Yep. If the NFL players stood together and said, if you guys don't speak out, if you guys don't enact change, if you don't do something, then we collectively as a league are going to walk out. Guess what?
Yep.
Change would happen. But no, you know why they can't do it? You know why they can't do it? Because they don't have the money or the capital to do it, because you're talking about 53 players that it affects. So unfortunately, the 30 guys that aren't making but maybe 200 grand a year, which I know to most people listening is like, well, that's a lot of freaking money. I get it, but not compared to what everybody else is getting, right? Yeah, then you know what? They're affecting everybody else's. They're affecting all those players. You take let's say it's 10 guys, hypothetically. 10 guys on 30 teams or 32 teams. How much is that? That's 320 people that are going to be negatively affected that can't provide for their families now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just harder to
but
make
can they
things
bring
happen
Kaepernick
that way.
back?
They could, but the problem is why would they?
They made an example out of him.
But it's not even that anymore. But why would they bring him back? What do they benefit? To bring him
I
back?
see that point. Yeah,
Start. Let him play in the league.
I see that point. Now, if they do
But
bring
they
him
gave
back,
a
it's
chance.
more of a
He chose
publicity
not
stunt.
to. They
Oh, they
gave
did?
him
Yeah.
they gave him a tryout. Okay. Yeah, and guess what he said?
They did.
He
They
said
did.
he put a big FU. There was literally multiple teams that came to this tryout in Atlanta, and he said, "No, I refuse to go try out at your facility under your rules. You guys have to travel an hour to 2 hours to where I'm going to hold the tryout under my own conditions, and you guys have to travel to come see me." There was a lot of shit that went on with that.
Yeah.
They tried
Yeah,
to
I
give
think
him
that was
opportunities. He made his choice.
Yeah.
He made his bet at this point. And I'm not saying they still ain't boycotting him a little bit, but at the same time, that's why they're doing it. It's like, look, we try to do things for you. Why would you want to take on that bad press that you know at any moment he could be a fucking headache or a nightmare for your team?
That's true.
Yeah.
True.
Unless
Well,
they win.
That being said,
I mean, yeah, but but once again, there's no guarantee proof that he's going to help you win. And it's all about the pocket at the bottom line. If he was, if he was an absolute stud quarterback, do you really think
if he was a Patrick Mahomes, bro,
Yeah.
he'll be in a team.
if Patrick Mahomes took a kneel like let's say Colin Kaepernick never happened 4 years ago, Patrick Mahomes came onto the scene and he kneeled, do you really think the same shit would have happened? No. You know why? It would have affected a team's bottom line.
Talent with
Colin
Trump.
Kaepernick was a backup.
Talent trumps.
He wasn't a starter. People didn't. Not everybody was bought into his ability, right? His own coach that gave him a starting job put his ass on the bench, right? So there was if you're Patrick Mahomes and you did that whole shit never would have happened that way, because now you're affecting the bottom line.
That's the same thing with the government.
All right, so we're getting there to that time. Let's do the sneaker of the
Go
night.
ahead, Check Monster. You got to do the announcement because Messiah did it like ass.
But wait. But before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, remember, we're going to switch up the time for Thursday morning. We took a pre-test for this. We were like, we got to say it a couple of times. Yeah,
You did. But
That's
twice.
No, guys,
That's a couple.
we're going
A couple's too.
Thursday morning, new night, new day.
New day. Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to be up. So if you're in the West Coast, be up by 5 in the morning, motherfucker. Watch our video. Okay? Please and thank you. Please. With all love, you know.
All right, go ahead, Check Monster.
It's all love out here, but Mr. Check Monster, it's yours.
I'm keeping it light today, so even though his introduction is going to be phenomenal, I'm keeping it light today. Go ahead.
All right, so this is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the part of the show that gets people out of their chairs. It gets their hips shaking and their knees breaking. I know I used that before, but I just love that line. You know, if you ain't got nothing on him, you better put it. He'll give you something to put on it. It's my boy, feet. You know, nah, man, just give me the sneaker of the day.
Yo, that went like.
I actually like that shit. That shit went like a Kodak stock. Like, right after.
Oh my God.
Sneaker of the day.
We're going to keep it light today. I'm going to bring out some Adidas, okay? NQT, EQTs.
Ooh.
You know.
All day I dream about sports.
That orthopedic in there. You know what I'm saying? Or ortholite, whatever it is. But these are the babies, you know. Bam, bam, bam. Keep it clean. Yeah. Bro, I got a little plethora of sneakers. I can keep it light, keep it crazy, you know.
Oh, I see. They look kind of fresh. They look fresh.
Gotta stay.
They look kind of small.
Were
though.
those yours or your
I
girls?
say they look
We
small
have the same
though.
pair.
Got baby feet.
Oh, okay.
Whoa. Easy.
Nah, I think it's just the way the design of the sneakers that look small.
yeah,
These
they
look
just,
small,
they
too.
just a thin cut.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of Generation Shock. Like I said, showtime, or like my boy said, showtime Thursday in the morning, like J. Cole said. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Please support us, subscribe, let your friends and your friends know what's going on here at Generation Shock. And we are out of this.
Thank you for tuning in.
All right, guys. Peace and love.
We got the right stuff. We put the hammer right down. Wanna be like us? Look, you better stick around. If you want it, you gotta prove it. Like we do it. Like we do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. You did it? It's cause it's cause it's Zoom. Like if I'm clapping, you're talking, it'll drown it out. Like everybody shut up. Everybody shut up.
Oh crap. Time out. You guys are gonna kill me. My mic was on mute. Just so you guys know. That whole conversation I just had. Yeah, you gotta love it. So nobody heard a word I just said. It's okay, you can edit it out. You can just skip it.
The whole time? Jesus Christ, like O'Brien. Alright. No, we're gonna have to start this shit all over. We're only 18 minutes in. We're actually 15 minutes in.
Yo, Nelly out here looking like Papi Shampoo on stress wheels. Tú sabes, Papi Nelly Montana.